Andy here. What's happening? I am joined today by Mason Olds of Canon USA. How are you, Mason?
I'm doing very good today. Thank you, Andy. How are you?
I am great. It's good to see you. We were just talking before the recording started. It's been, just over 2 years since we got together at the last event down in Florida. How's Canon doing? Are you don't look like you're quite in your office yet, but tell me what's happened with Canon and give me a little background on what you do for them.
Yeah, so I've been with Canon over 30 years now. I started in the industry in 1983. I worked for a small dealer in Western Massachusetts. Eastman Kodak gobbled me up from there. I worked there for 7 years, and Canon grabbed me from Eastman Kodak. And I've now been at Canon for over 30 years. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales for the company, and I focus on the business to business area. As you know, Canon's a pretty diversified company with consumer and with business to business, but the business to business area is the largest right now. So it's been a nice ride.
Yeah, 30 years. I can't believe it, man. It's a long time. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So how is Canon? You guys you are out of the headquarters, the Melville office. Are you guys open? Are people coming back in a little bit, a lot?
Yeah, so we've been voluntarily opened on Mondays and Thursdays for most of COVID. We have kind of executive meetings on Monday morning. So I always go into the office on Mondays at least. And starting in the week after July 4th, we're going to be bringing people back on Monday and Wednesdays. And during the summer, you kind of go every other week. And then starting after Labor Day, we're going to have a hybrid approach. People are going to come in on Mondays and Wednesdays. And the rest of the week we're open, but you don't have to come in. You can work from home if your job allows you to do that. So we're excited. It's something new for us. Mr. Kevin Ogawa is our CEO, and he brings a different look on it, and I think appropriate for the times. So everyone in the company is very excited about that. We're known for being a very conservative company, so I would say that may not be a conservative decision on his part.
Yeah, you are about as conservative, old school. Canon is just it's a traditional Japanese company, and you do things methodically. And it's nice to hear that you can make some flex decisions and go a quick direction when you can. What's really going to be interesting is, you're all using the technology you've been selling and telling everybody works for years. So hopefully. Yep. Hopefully it's actually been a good experience for everybody, and you're drinking your own Kool-Aid and walking your own walks. So and our whole industry has kind of experienced that, right?
Yeah.
But it's good to see people are getting back to normal, and hopefully you'll start doing some visits and getting out there a little bit more and more.
Of course.
I've been wanting to have you on for a long time on the show, but I thought, with the recent announcement and what's going on with a lot of different companies, and Canon being, one of the elite high-level companies with a similar kind of a makeup with a dealer branch split, I thought, we'd pick your brain and talk to you about Canon and see what's going on. So, the trend I'm talking about is, we saw Konica get rid of a bunch of branches earlier this year. We've seen Ricoh, pretty much eliminate their branch program a couple of years ago. You're one of the last ones that has a pretty significant branch operation. Can you give me insight? What's going on? What's happening with Canon's branch organization? Is this something that going forward is still a big part of Canon?
We do have a large branch operation, and we love that. And I'll explain to everyone why that is. So first of all, you would have to think about why you would sell branches. And if you look at our Canon Inc. investor relations site, you can see that we're a very financially strong company. Probably the strongest in the industry, if I do say so myself. Our company, a little different than a lot of our competitors in that we're very diversified. So we're not only obviously in the B2B side, we're in the consumer side. We have a very substantial medical with the acquisition of Toshiba Medical. And we're also in the security camera side by buying Access, which was the market leader. So we've done a very good job. I find it interesting when I hear the analysts in this industry, trying to get the dealers to diversify and get the manufacturers. And there's a lot of kind of harsh criticism of the manufacturers and in general for kind of doing the same thing all the time. And, under our CEO in Japan, Mr. Mitarai, I think we've done a tremendous job of diversifying. And by the way, that diversification really started with buying OSE, which at the time, we weren't in the high-end production side, and it turns out that's a pretty nice space to be in, and also a wide format, large format, which OSE was in, and we weren't really a big player in that. So that's played well. So we don't need the money, basically. So I could see that could be one driving factor. If Canon never really needed the money, there's good value in that. So another unique thing about Canon is we lost Icon, we lost Danka, we lost Global. Ricoh, thanks. They bought Icon, and at the time we were selling them over $1 billion a year. That was probably the single biggest hit any company has taken in this industry. KM bought Danka. I think that was a couple $100 million more, maybe we lost many years ago. Xerox bought Global. Global wasn't quite as big at the time, but then Xerox went out through Global and bought at least 25 or 30 predominantly Canon dealers. So quite frankly, we don't need the money, and we need an insurance policy against dealers who sell. And I love dealers. I've learned so much from them. We actually are happy for our dealers, and even for other dealers, when they sell, they live the American dream, which is wonderful. But, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our company also. So we have a strong direct operation, and it's a good insurance policy against this. So those are two core reasons. Then I talk about CSA in general. And, from a consolidated basis, they're quite profitable for us. If you run a decent direct operation and, they're selling just your product, it can be pretty profitable. So that's nice. Unlike a lot of our competitors, we also have a very strong financial arm. A number of years ago, we saw that, we had a lot of cash, if you look at Canon historically. And so rather than maybe keeping it in the bank and not getting much interest, why not move it into the leasing business? And that's been very, very good for us. And, their number one partner would be CSA. So all the leasing through CSA. So maybe that's something a little unique for us that even gets us a little more value with that.
Canon Financial Services, you're referring
Correct,
to.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they're also a very good partner to lots of dealers out there also. They remain neutral. All they care about is getting leases out there and making a little money off it. And that's their mission, and servicing the clients good. Obviously, a lot of the profit in the business, as the dealers know well, is in the service side. So when you sell your branches, you don't really take part in the service anymore. As we mentioned when we were talking before, a lot of the dealers, amazingly, and to give them a big compliment, did pretty well financially throughout COVID. And a lot of that was because of the service revenue they continued to generate with that. One that people might not look at is kind of new product exploration. So we're getting into the robotics business, and we partnered with SoftBank. It's a product called the Wiz. And what I've learned with dealers is they have great trust in Canon and some of the people at Canon. And if we bring them an idea and it's a winner, they really like that. But if we bring them lots of new products and they're not a winner, they're not going to listen to us anymore. So when we have CSA, we're testing this new product out, we're going to refine it, and we think it's going to be a winner. And so having a real strong direct operation really helps us do that. I will say never say never. So to say Canon doesn't ever sell anything would be inaccurate. I was running the business-to-business operations in Canada. I had North Bay, Ontario. I don't know, probably not many people on this call even knows where that is. Beautiful place, not a lot of people. Needed a new leader for that branch. Good luck finding one. Had a dealer, I think he was in Timmins, if I remember correctly. So stretching my memory a little bit. What a wonderful dealership he was running. I sold the assets off to that dealer. So that's an example. Alaska. So when we bought OSE, in Alaska, we had a lot of imagistics, base left over. We have some wonderful dealers in Alaska who we deal with, and we didn't see it. It's very different in Alaska. Again, it's really tough, to get good people. The locally run business is probably stronger at doing that, and so we got rid of our base there. Boise, Idaho wasn't core to us. Very small base. We got rid of our base there. So when we do it, we try to do it for, financial reasons. When we don't think we can run it, or it's hard to find people, when it's really small, when it's not core to what we do, and when it could help a dealer. I would be dishonest if I didn't tell you that myself, Sam Yoshida, Pete, running CSA, don't get calls almost on a weekly basis from our dealers. But it does make you think there might be some value in having your branches. So we're real happy with our makeup. We have the insurance policy that we feel like we need. We were able to grow our dealer business 8 years in a row. We're very proud of that. From 2011 to 2020 with COVID, the first year that our dealer business, after 8, the revenue went down. This is revenue. So this isn't, we grew in some market segment or something. This is overall revenue, which is really hard to do with the pricing going down and everything. And this year, like everybody, I'm sure, we're growing very nicely with the dealers again. So I think we have a nice mix. We have a lot of long-term employees that I think the dealers trust. And so, yes, we may be conservative at times and whatnot, but we do have a strategy, and you asked, so that's what our strategy is. We're not looking to sell in a big way like some of our competitors did. I'm sure they did what they thought was right for their business, but we don't need the money. We need the insurance policy probably more than the money. So,
So
hopefully that answered it.
Yeah, you mostly answered. So your dealers are really still a huge part of the Canon relationship, right? I mean, that's your dealers tend to be on the larger side, especially compared to other brands in some cases. They're big, but they also sometimes compete against a large branch, right? And you've got branches all over the country. So, but because there is a rumor right now that you have been getting rid of branches and this and that, but we haven't seen any big ones go down. So that's why I thought maybe we'd talk to you about this. So what we're seeing is, over time, we get a little shift here and there when it makes sense, is what you're saying. Maybe we slim down the market and put it in the dealer's hands, who's probably better prepared to carry on in that than you were able to.
And we also expand CSA in areas where we think there's opportunity. So, we often talk about diversifying out, but we do that also. But to your question on the enterprise side, probably our dealer business is larger than our CSA business. So still, Canon started with dealers as its base. And, in the camera business, it's almost all, sold through partners. Our business is still, when you look at the totality of our business, it's still primarily done through, partners. So I think that's something Canon's really good at, is, dealing with non-affiliated companies also. But again, back to the insurance policy, so many dealers have owners, have gotten very wealthy selling. We love that. We feel so good for them, but we have a company to run also. So we're always nervous about, them realizing the American dream, which is wonderful. But like I said, we have a company, we have a big, enterprise that we're running. We have lots of customers out there who like our product. So, we have to keep all those things in mind when we make our strategy.
Well, let's face it. I mean, you just look at it from this point of view, there are a good number of dealers who can really handle production print. But when we start getting up into that OSE level, into that, super high end commercial print, production print, in-plant market, that's over the heads of a lot of dealers. But you do have, especially when you're a Canon or some of the others, that's tough to sell through a dealer channel in general. So you do need a branch system, right? Especially in major markets where you control that sales rep from beginning to end. right? They're not selling 4 different brands and different products and choosing which one they want to place. They're there to sell your brand. So for someone who's selling production print, wide format, specialty products like that, I would think it really does make sense to keep that. And it's got to be challenging in some cases if, when you get rid of that, right? So other companies are trying to figure it out a different way, and we'll see how that plays out. It's interesting to watch. You're very fluid how you're, maybe opening or expanding in some areas, but other areas maybe you're just you're pulling back a little bit. But so just the bottom line is, we can say this here: Canon is not leaving the branch operation anytime soon. Absolutely not. It's not our strategy. It's not our intent. We don't need to. We like having it. We love our dealers. And like I said, CSA is a very nice insurance policy for us. Really helps us sell the high-end products, as you mentioned. Well, the market is going more in that direction. And so it's nice. And I would argue it really helps the independent dealers, even though they don't like to have to compete, because the more you can sell, the lower your cost of making products. And they really help us with volume. They help us test out new products. And we learn a lot, which we can then share with the dealers through our direct. And you'd be surprised, there are a number of dealers now that they'll win a multi-location, larger client. And it used to be they would only deal with other independent dealers. And clearly that's still their preference. I'm not saying it's not, but they'll come to CSA now. And sometimes, what do you say? One throat to choke. I hear that statement a lot. So someone may have 15 different locations. It's in the dealer's hometown. The dealer gets it and they need to IT it. And it's nice to have one partner to go to. And so they actually choose CSA sometimes. So we have a one Canon concept, trying to get everyone to work together. And it's not easy to do. We have rules of engagement now. We have lots of different things we've put into place. And we do the best we can to make a harmonious, business environment. Our dealers are doing well financially. And I think ultimately, that's their goal. So I think we must be doing something right in our strategy. Well, that's my opinion. Your dealers are solid. I can't off the top of my head think of any Canon dealers we lost last year due to the pandemic. Maybe, here and there were some mergers and acquisitions, and those were going to happen anyways, and more will keep happening. But Canon dealers and even the industry in general, we kind of danced around it earlier, but this pricing method that a lot of people say needs to go away, needs to update, needs to become seat-based, needs to be this, that, the other thing. When we actually step back and look at it, that really did save a lot of companies, because their customers weren't going in, they weren't printing, yet they were still paying for 20,000 pages a month, right? And so that kept a lot of heads above water. And maybe there is some value to the way we've been doing things a long time. We just never really appreciated it. And Andy, be careful what you wish for. And I'll pay a compliment to Xerox. Xerox started the industry. They set up the whole, aftermarket thing, and it's proven. I can't think of too many industries. We've been going 50 years more, something like that, that still have that basic business model going. So, be careful what you wish for. 1938, Chester Carlson. Yes. And I can't believe I know that, but somebody at Leesburg did a good job training me, because it's 30 years later and I still remember. That's impressive. So Mason, this was just awesome. I'm so glad you were able to take some time and spend with me this afternoon. And, right before the holiday weekend, I'm honored that you would take this opportunity and chance to just, tell my viewers, our viewers and listeners, what's really happening with Canon, what you're doing with your branches. And I hope you have good plans for the weekend, but this was great. And I do. Any last shout outs you have? Hopefully your HR department can breathe a sigh of relief. I don't think we got anyone in trouble yet. You're almost there, man. You're almost there. I'll just say, Andy, thanks for asking the question. Always happy to help, and I like the work you do. So take care. Have a nice July 4th with your family. I can't wait to see you guys. It's been too long. So we'll have a safe holiday, and we'll follow up soon. Thanks, Mason. Yep. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.